Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be reviewing F1 22. I'm going to break the review of this game down into 4 sections, those being gameplay, career mode, F1 life and online multiplayer. I'll also be breaking the video up into different time frames, so if you just want to go and see about a specific section of the game, then you're more than welcome to skip through using the designated time slots for each category. Now please do remember that this is just my opinion and it shouldn't be taken as gospel at all. I've put a lot of hours into the game since it's been launched, so I'm in quite a good position now to review it overall. So going straight into gameplay, and the main talking point will be the new handling model for F1 22. It's been built from the ground up and they've put a lot of time and effort into it, and I've got to say, I am quite impressed. The way that the cars feel and behave and the way they rotate around corners and sort of attack the curbs, it all feels quite natural and they behave exactly how I'd expect them to. With the new regulations bringing in bigger tyres, the cars don't actually feel too cumbersome, and I really do enjoy driving these cars around the track. One of my personal biggest concerns going into F1 22 was that EA were going to rip up the handling model that we've all established over the last few years and go into this game with a brand new one. And honestly, the cars do not feel too heavy. I'd imagine that they would have, considering the size of the tyres, but they've really done a good job and they've made it work. The curbs on this game are more alive than ever before. Each track sort of feels like it has its own personality now, whereas previously we just had curbs that had different variations in height and size. Now they have more texture to them, and depending on the track and the curb you go over, you can really feel the sort of jaggedy ones pulling your car towards them. Coupled with the force feedback, the curbs on this game do feel great. I can see why a lot of people do play without vibrations on, but in my personal opinion it does add to the experience. Now moving on to the negatives of the gameplay itself, and I think it's universally agreed that the traction control on this game is absolutely insane. If you're playing with traction control off or on the medium setting, you will find yourself wrestling with the back end of your car more than you have previously. Now I went through F1 21 with my traction control on medium throughout, and in this game it is a huge step up. It's basically the off setting from last year's game, and I think that EA didn't do this intentionally. I do think that it will be fixed in a future update. So taking all of that into account, I'm going to give the gameplay for F1 2022 an 8 out of 10. Now, moving on into career mode, which obviously encapsulates my team career mode and just the driver career mode, I'm going to be honest, it's all just a bit samey really. If you played F1 21, then you've played F1 22's career mode. There is not really any difference at all. As you can see here, the menus for customizing your car and the R&D are exactly the same, and all of the customization options are pretty much just the same. The only real noticeable addition comes in the form of the practice programs. Now, as you can see here, I'm running an average tyre wear program in practice on Saudi Arabia, and there is a graph at the top of the screen which hasn't been there previously in F1 21. And previously it would have just been a little line and you had to try and get it over to the right in the purple window to pass the program. However, in this game it's slightly different. It's going to follow the graph along the whole lap, and you can see whether your tyre wear is improving or not. And on this track here, you can see there is a red line and a purple line, and that just basically shows how in previous laps how your tyre management was going. But unfortunately, as I did just say, this is the only real noticeable difference in career mode or my team, and apart from some different interview questions, this is pretty much all you're getting different from last year's game. So for career mode in F1 22, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. There's nothing necessarily wrong with the career mode, as obviously it's been quite a popular mode on the game, but the fact that I haven't really made any changes this year and haven't really made any improvements apart from a small little practice program graph, I'm not really going to give it any higher than a 6.5 unfortunately. Now, moving on to what is pretty much the flagship new feature for F1 2022, that is F1 Life. Now, this isn't really a feature that anyone particularly asked for, but now we've got it, it does kind of make sense in the grand scheme of things. F1 Life is basically just a fancier way of saying customization on the F1 game. You can change your house and your casual wear and your race wear from here. As you can see here, the casual wear is what you'll wear inside your house when you appear in the cutscenes in the background. And you can customize your race wear, which is obviously what you wear while you're driving the car in my team or in your player car online. So one quality of life improvement they have made is the ability to copy and paste colours from another part of your race suit to another, which actually saves a lot of time going back and forth trying to match the colours up with the saturation, etc. Now this isn't just exclusive to race suits either, this is obviously included in the car customization, and as well as this there is now the option to choose your paint finish, so you can go for a glossy finish, a matte finish, a satin finish or a metallic finish, and it looks really good. It offers a lot more personality and customization options when making a new car, so it can definitely set you apart from others if you have a similar livery. Now let's talk supercars. These were another feature that was added as part of F1 Live, and it just allows you to drive the cars around the track and obviously put them around your house as a little decor sort of thing, and that's basically all they are. They're sort of interactive furniture options for your house. You can take them out on track and you can dot them around your house. That's pretty much it. The customization for these cars is kind of limited. You can only just change the paint job to about 8, 9 or 10 different styles depending on the car, and you can take them out and do the Pirelli Hot Lap challenges, or for example the drift one that you're seeing on screen here, and there's a lot to be desired. For example, I'm drifting here and I'm skidding, but there's no smoke from the tyres, and this would have been a pretty cool customization option, as for anyone who's played GTA, you can go to the garage and you can change the tyre smoke colour, so this could have been a really cool customization option, but they've really missed out on it in my opinion. The novelty does actually wear off pretty quickly. It's pretty cool stepping into a supercar and taking it around an F1 track for the first time, but after you've done it once or twice, it kind of just gets boring and you're just itching to move on and actually drive an F1 car. Now, another big missed opportunity is not being able to race these things online. This would have really made this a very meaningful feature, but unfortunately, as I said, for the time being, it's just drivable furniture. There's no way you can race against friends. The only racing action you get is a little 1v1 duel that you can do in the Pirelli Hot Laps, and unfortunately it's kind of easy. I'm not gonna lie, you saw how easy it was to overtake him in a chicane around Italy, and yeah, it's not great. It's fun for maybe a race or two, but after that it's just boring. You go around half the track and you beat them pretty easily. Another thing of note is that EA actually removed the functionality to race against your friends online before they launched the game, which is very surprising and very disappointing. That's a huge missed opportunity, and hopefully we see it added in either in an update or in the future installments to come. What I will be very disappointed with is if they add it as DLC that you have to pay for. That will be absolutely ridiculous. So with all that in mind, even though supercars are a welcome addition, there is minimal customization with the cars and a lot of wasted potential. I'm going to give F1 Live a 5 out of 10. The customization is great for the characters and the actual liveries for the player cars, but the supercars do kind of miss their target, and overall it is a lackluster experience after a while. And finally, to wrap this up, I'm going to be talking about online. Online is going to include obviously ranked and social play and league play. Now, the multiplayer functionality in F1 games for the last few years has been really poor, and unfortunately in F1 22 it doesn't really get any better. It kind of just plateaus, and it's been the same for the last few years now, so unfortunately it's back to staring at this for quite a while before you actually eventually, in the 50th attempt, get into an online lobby. So let's say you eventually get into a game, or for example you go into a league race with your friends. The AIs instead have other ideas and will just ruin your experience a different way by doing this. They will just stop on the track, and it's a glitch that's been in the game for a while and nothing's been done about it by EA or Codemasters, and it just ruins your race and or your qualifying because they're overly aggressive and just ridiculously slow at times like this. And not to mention their speed coming out of corners and down the straights. I had a lot of comments on my last video that I was saying about the AIs being ridiculously quick, and I really agree. In races, if you don't pass them into turn 1, then unfortunately it's going to be a difficult one to actually try and overtake them later on in the race. I'm not going to spend too much time complaining about the state of F1 22 online multiplayer, because I literally did a video on that the other day. But yeah, it does really need to be fixed, and matchmaking is still very poor, and overall online is just an absolute ball ache. So with all that in mind, I'm going to give F1 22 online a 2 out of 10. So now with all of that out of the way, we can take a look at the final category ratings, with gameplay at 8 out of 10, career mode 6.5 out of 10, F1 Live 5 out of 10, and online is a 2 out of 10. So overall, I'm going to give Formula 1 2022 a 6 out of 10. Now, with the overall ranking, I will say that the game is moving in the right direction. It has got the foundations for a really solid Formula 1 game. Not even just a Formula 1 game, just a really solid racing sim game. And if they keep building on what they have now, then they could be on for a winner. But unfortunately, F1 23 is a make or break for EA Sports. If they have another flawed launch and it's just completely unplayable straight out the box, then I think that is really going to hinder their sales for 24 onwards. And I know that's a while away yet, and they've still got a lot of time to learn and grow the game, but yeah, they need to act quickly, or at least give us some reassurances, because this game has a lot of issues and it needs extensive work done to it. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you agree with my ratings or you have different opinions, then let me know down in the comments below if you could use the same sort of format with the categories. Then we could get a better idea of what the general consensus is with this game. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It motivates me massively and will help the channel grow and will help me stay on task and keep pushing videos out such as this week in, week out. The support on the channel recently has been incredible, with my last video hitting around 1,200 views at the time of recording. So big shout out to everyone who has clicked on this channel and has supported me. So yeah, take care and I'll see you next time.